Hey all, Mark Slane with the United States Krav Maga Association. Today talking about the USKMA's weapons defenses. We go around teaching a lot of law enforcement, our weapons takeaways, and generally 99% of the cops that go through our training tell us, hey, that's the best, most useful stuff we've ever seen, which is music to our ears. Now our thoughts on this is if we can teach one defense and it takes care of several different problems, that's gold. Our handgun technique, for instance, we do a cupping technique. That same technique, basically, whether they're in front of us, the gun's to the side of our head, we're on our knees, we're mounted, the gunman's in our guard, the gunman's standing over us. If we can show one defense that works for all that, again, for law enforcement, really for all of us, that's gold, because they don't have time to practice 8 different weapons takeaways. To get proficient at 8 different weapons takeaways. We can learn one, and it's good for, 7 or 8 positions. Under stress, there isn't a decision, okay, which was the right technique for this? We just basically want to react. We go and we cup the gun and then go on from there. It's the same thing with our long gun. We've basically got one defense, whether the gun's in front of us, behind us, pointed at our head, pointed at our stomach, has a sling on it. It's the same defense. Our knife, 10 different defenses are all basically the same. We want to block the knife, bear hug the arm, and beat the idiot into oblivion. Again, this stuff is just gold. Under stress, under adrenaline, we're just going to react because we don't have a whole lot to think about. There's basically one defense that we've practiced and practiced and practiced, rather than, for the knife, having to do 9 or 10 different defenses and practice all of them and get good at all of them. So, again, this, to me, that's just the beauty of what we teach. And, again, most law enforcement personnel that go through our instructor training, they see the beauty of that as well. Now, my thought is every now and then somebody will come up and tell me, for instance, hey, I have a better handgun disarm. And my thought is always, we'll certainly show it to them, because if it is better, we're going to steal it and we're going to teach it. And we'll call it, our own. But it gets down to, I don't know how you'd put a percentage on it, but let's say that handgun defense they show me is 10% better than the one we teach. 10%, I don't know, easier, faster, 10% better. My problem is they would have a different defense for side of the head, even if that one's 10% better. A different defense for I'm on my knees. A different defense for the gunman has me mounted. So all these, 7 different defenses that are 10% better than the one we teach, when you put them all together, you're truly making your officer or whoever you're teaching, you're making them 80% less safe. Because again, because it's a little better defense, well, it's like night and day. It's a different one here, it's a different one here, it's a different one here. They're back to having to practice 7 or 8 different defenses. They're back to when there is a handgun on them, they got to think, okay, which one am I supposed to do? It's not coming out of them easily. It's not coming right out of them, with the reaction. So, I guess especially knife guys will, oh, I've got a better knife defense. Well, maybe you do for that one attack. But man, as far as a grouping of techniques to learn, we're showing one thing that works in 11 different types of attacks. So to me, that's gold. And your one that's better, well, then maybe your one from, a slash is different. The one overhead is different. The straight stab is different. We can't have different. People don't have that much time to train. They're not going to put that much time into it. And especially when we teach law enforcement, those guys have a lot to do. They got to get good with their handgun. They got to practice, their report writing. They got to practice driving. They're not going to spend a lot of time on empty hand stuff. So show them one that works for many different ways. We do have, the defending the barrel and the blade book. We've got all of our weapons defenses in there. We certainly have tried to put some videos on our Facebook page, but absolutely we challenge you, if you're teaching, especially law enforcement, to look into these. Mark Slane, United States Krav Maga Association.